Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Realtor in the Trenches with myself, Mike Varelli, Nat Grillo, and Dave Eccles. This is our second episode that we are broadcasting to fellow clients, viewers. Our topic today is going to be about multiple offers. It's a very hot topic in today's market with inventory very low. And we all thought that it'd be a good topic to share with you guys. And we're going to have Nat Grillo give us one of his stories about multiple offers. So I'm going to give it over to Nat to discuss his story.
Thanks, Mike. So, there's lots of aspects to multiple offers, and we could probably do 10 or 20 episodes just on this. We didn't start with this multiple offer situation I was in a few weeks ago. It was on a nice condo downtown, and we were in three offers. And what I always do, what I always try to do now in offers is get my clients to take a picture, like if they're a family, take a little family portrait, and to write a little story. And it's not a long thing, it's like a paragraph. And it should just say, hi, we're the Joneses. Uh, you know, and I often tell my clients just to give you some credibility so that they know that there's solidity behind your offer. Explain what you do. In this case, one of my clients was a professor and the other was a lawyer. So they have a little boy. And I said, make sure you write all that and then tell why you like the property and why you want to live there. Now, we ended up, I think there were 3 or 4 offers, and we ended up getting it. Now, I don't want to mislead anybody thinking that we got it, even though we were lower priced. And the reason we got it was because of this great letter, because a lot of agents are doing that now. But a lot of times in multiple offers, you'll be neck and neck. If there's like 6 offers, what typically happens is 2 are early on in the process and they're not even in the ballpark. 2 are kind of in the ballpark, but they're middle of the road. And then there's 2 or 3 often going neck and neck, and they're usually very close on price. So if you have that one little extra thing that gives you an advantage, that's useful. And I heard the agent, and I've heard this on several occasions when I do this, saying, my clients love the letter and they really want you to get the property, but, and usually but means like you got to make sure you have the right price and right closing and all of that. So all of this is to say, whatever you can bring to the table that helps you, make sure you do it. And telling a story and putting a face and human story underneath the numbers and the details of the contract is very important. And then finally, what I want to address is that there's been a very subtle shift in multiple offers. Um, I think it started roughly around 3 years ago with the advent of electronic signatures and everything. So typically, like 10 years ago, if I was on a multiple offer on a house, there would be 8 agents in their cars in a row on the street, across the street from the house. And one at a time at 7 o'clock, we'd go in like little soldiers and present our offer to the sellers, then walk out the door, and the next realtor would go. And, we and then throughout the night, certain cars would drive away, so you knew they were out of the running, and then you'd be left with you and another guy in a car, or another lady in a car, waiting to see which one of you got the house. So the disadvantage of that was just the inconvenience to realtors, because it was a whole night and you're there in the cold, parked in your car. And the reason for being there in person was because if you had to improve your offer or something, you often had your clients in your car, and if they needed to up the price by 5,000, they could physically just sign it in your car and you could go back in. With the advent of electronic technology and electronic signatures, my clients can be in the comfort of their living room and they can sign whatever improvements to the offer on the second round that they want. So we don't all have to physically be in the same place. So it's not as common now to have rows of cars outside the seller's home. The disadvantage to the realtor, I would use that time when I'm across the table from the seller to read their body language, to get a bit of a hint on their intentions, on what some of their hot buttons were. If it was a lovely old couple who had raised a family in that house and all the kids have gone, I would emphasize how my clients are going to fill it up with kids. And, I would adjust, bring out the best of my clients' factors, the human story and the numbers in front of the seller, and I could adjust it on what I perceive the seller to be like. Now, everything is done remotely, and I haven't been in front of a seller for over a year. And it means that I have to just pre-package everything in that email that I'm going to send with the offer to the listing agent, and make myself and my clients as human as possible. I try to find out as much as I can ahead of time, like who the seller is, but we're limited now. So it's a subtle nuance, but it's a different game. And anyway, that's my story.
Yeah, it's always important to understand that there is a human element to the real estate transaction, and we often forget that. And obviously, price is, normally the most motivator for most sellers, but there is also that human element where some people want the house to go to a nice young family or what have you. So I don't know if Dave, you want to touch on anything else that you've experienced through multiple offers, maybe your experience in some cases, or add any further info or
Yeah,
detail.
it's. I think we've all been in that position where we've won in a multiple offer, and our buyers weren't the ones with the highest price. It's unusual, but it does happen, and it's exactly the story that Nat had mentioned. Perhaps an older couple that had raised their family in that house, and you come in with that same story, that you've got a new couple just getting married, wanting to start their family, and it just tugs on a heartstring. And next thing you know, you might not be the best offer in terms of price, but you've won the house because of your story and the human factor, as Nat mentioned. It's such a great topic because we can go on and on with all sorts of stories and questions and comments. I think maybe for the benefit of our viewers, I'd like to perhaps provoke the question or of the unknown. You've got perhaps a client in front of you that has never gone in, they're listing their property. They've never done it. They've never gone into what we set up as an offer presentation for multiple offers. And oftentimes you get the question of what happens on the day of offer, and there's no offers. What do we do? And so there's all these questions and uncertainties that come with processing or preparing a house for multiple offers. And if you haven't done it before as a seller, it can be very scary. Nat, can you perhaps elaborate on maybe that question?
Yeah. So when we list homes, especially in this competitive market, but this is where you need a realtor who's really in the trenches and knows what they're doing. Hopefully one of the three of us. But when you're listing a home, you have to know the pulse of the market. And if you're in a very hot market, competitive market, you're going to want to hold back offers, because holding back offers gives the marketplace the opportunity to take their people through the house and to build up a momentum of demand, so that on that offer night, which is 4 days, 5 days from the date that it comes out, you've got a critical mass of people who are going to, push it forward. So it's really an art form, but you don't want to do it all the time, because, for example, in the condo market that I was experiencing in June and July of last year, condos really slowed down quite a bit. And it was not an appropriate thing to do on some condos to hold back offers. You would want to just take the first offer. So that's one thing that you need to depend on the experience of your realtor. But also, as Dave and Mike and I know, you have to tell the seller to be prepared that that night there may not be any offers. And it's not the end of the world, and the world does not stop rotating on its axis. It's fine. And I have sold properties where offer night came, people were on the fence, but they were a little scared. A few days went by, and then the 2 or 3 people that had sat on the fence came forward, and I actually ended up selling it over asking price a week later. So, it's not to panic if no offers occur, but it is a good idea to hold back offers, especially in a hot market.
Yeah, that's a great, another great point, Nat. I think what happens is on both ends of the transaction, whether it's a seller or a buyer, they don't understand the process. And I think, dealing with a professional realtor, you have that's part of our duty and our professionalism to help them understand that, both ends and, the what ifs and stuff like that. So you hit another great point. And, just to add to your comments and Dave's, it's always interesting going in because you don't know what's going to happen, and it's about managing those expectations and those relationships you have with your clients that I think creates that great realtor client relationship, and that's where the trust is built. Um, so I think we've touched on some good points with multiple offers. I mean, like you said, we could be here all day talking about it and our experiences, but we're going to, I think, end it off with that. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you want to add. I hope everyone here has enjoyed what we've discussed, and I'll just leave it to you guys if you want to add anything. If not, I think we'll end it off there.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, take care. And thanks again for viewing Realtor in the Trenches, and we'll see you next time.